evening, all of our
How are
friends at
we? How are we?
home. Like
Konnichiwa.
both of yous. Hey, Josh, we miss you, buddy. All right.
Already.
Uh, cold drink. And we are ready to rock and roll. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Denver in Darkness, a chronicle for Vampire the Masquerade 20th Anniversary Edition. I am JD the ST. As the name may give away, I am the storyteller for this nonsense. And these are my players. Everybody say hello.
Most of
Konnichiwa.
us, anyways.
Hola.
Josh,
So,
I curse you for not being here.
oh man,
Oh,
Ooh.
curse.
strong statement, sir. Not necessarily entirely unjustified, but yeah. Professor Professor Caleb Louvet will be absent from this evening's story.
He's busy licking boots.
Oh yes, his sire has crooked her finger, and he has run to answer her call. in reality, the player's little sister is getting married soon, and he has things to do. So,
Congratulations!
Yeah, that's awesome.
so
But you're still being held at fault for not being here.
oh, 100%. All right. So we had a very eventful session last week. Let's go ahead and get somebody to give us a recap in exchange for a bonus experience point.
I'll go ahead and give it a shot, but I don't recall
Okay.
everything that happened. I know when we started off, we had a little bit of time for people to do some of their own things because I remember having spent an experience point. But it was after the last lupine fight we had, and then everybody had a couple days of downtime in which everybody had done whatever they had done. That's not all the things I exactly remember. And then from there, we all eventually got contacted by Merrick, who made a grisly discovery at the Red Note. Ramon asked him to meet there, and Merrick decided that he would, knowing that the Red Note was going to be shut down anyways. He, of course, expected a private meeting, but when he arrived, he found a charred and staked corpse behind the bar. And after getting the group together and doing some determinations, we did figure out that it wasn't actually Ramon, that it was Booth. By that time, was called and had arrived, and he was quite upset by what he found. Roughhoused Merrick quite a bit and demanded to know where Ramon was after we talked a little sense into him and assured him that Merrick had nothing to do with this. Merrick did indeed call Ramon's phone, which we heard ringing inside the Red Note. And when the source of the phone was traced back, it was under the stage. Lifting away the door of the stage that's in the ground, we found half of Ramon's body and his cell phone. I don't remember exactly how we ended off, because I know that we made that shocking discovery. We decided we were going to tell the prince, but I also get a little fuzzy as to where we left off.
That's pretty much it. We are dealing with the extremely distraught and frustrated sheriff of the city, Duke. And he is insisting that the group report to the prince immediately, except Detective Green, at the same time that you guys were getting ready to try to figure out what to do with the bodies, you received a text message
That's
from the
right.
desk sergeant at the
Yes.
precinct. There had been another missing person reported, matching your presumed serial killer and their profile. And the text message confirms that they have found the driver. which, for those who may not be up to speed, we have a serial killer operating in a way that the vampires of the city have taken interest in, whose MO appears to be to abduct a woman. And strangely, the women are not resurfacing, but then the cab driver, Uber, limo driver, whatever, who has been the last person to see the victim of the kidnapping, turns up dead a couple of days later. So that uh, that lead has trumped you and may require your presence elsewhere rather than going immediately to the prince. But that's going to be up to you. But that is where we're starting out. Uh, Professor Louvet, Caleb, our friendly neighborhood Tremere, is excusing himself from the drama with the prince to go and report in person to his sire about the evening's discoveries. Detective Green, I put the question to you, sir. Are you going to stall the precinct and go with Merrick and the others to see the prince? Or are you going to go immediately to the crime scene and hope that Merrick and the others do okay without you?
I think I will do the latter. I have total confidence that the three of them can describe the situation to the prince exactly as it happened. No issues. No
No
issues.
issues. No
None
problem. Okay.
whatsoever. Full confidence. But Ron is going to hastily excuse himself from the group and say, "I know you guys got this with the prince. I need to go check something out. This could lead somewhere." And he's gonna boogie on over to the crime scene.
Okay. Yeah. Now, given your relationship with the sheriff, being the child of his chief lieutenant, and this case being the purpose behind your embrace, Duke agrees without any real argument that you need to concentrate on that task. So you are excused and allowed to go on your merry. Ah,
I'll meet up with you guys later.
the other three of you are tasked by Duke with transporting the bodies, the charred corpse of Booth from behind the bar, and the savaged and severed torso of Ramon from under the stage, and transporting them discreetly to meet with the prince.
We're hauling them? The actual
Yes.
bodies?
Yes, you are bringing the bodies. You can't leave them here.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I mean, some kid
I
might
just
stumble into the place,
I assumed Duke was taking charge of that. That's all.
Yes, he's taking charge by telling you to bring them.
Yeah,
There
gotcha.
it is. There it is.
Now, I mean, I know at least Merrick has a resource at his disposal. Ramon has the three ghouls who make up the rest of his band. That they have the band's panel van that you could easily load the bodies into. Just a matter of making a phone call and having the guys bring the van around.
Dude,
But-
my pickup's out front.
I'm on the bike and we ain't touching those bodies yet.
Yeah, I don't
Like-
want to involve the ghouls right now because Merrick's not very familiar with, how that necessarily works. Too intimately. All he
Yeah.
knows is that they're dedicated to Ramon. He does not want them to maybe chance scene. So I will ride with Kyle and we can
Okay.
load the bodies into his pickup truck.
Okay. I'm assuming, Kyle, that you have a tarp in your vehicle to keep them covered.
We can get a tablecloth or something.
Well, Good news is, under the circumstances, it doesn't have to be a very big tablecloth.
Ooh. Oof.
Yeah. Oh,
Cheap
sorry.
shots
Sorry,
are
Merrick.
fired. Wow.
Sorry, Merrick.
Too soon,
Whoops.
man. Too soon.
All right. So yeah, you pull the truck around to the side door, uh, wrap the bodies each in a couple of tablecloths, duct tape them all around so that the tablecloths don't come off in transport, and then carefully load them into the back of Kyle's truck. Duke observes, stays with you guys the whole time, and then leads you across town to an unassuming building.
Can I talk to Kyle as we're driving?
Sure, absolutely.
Listen, you've got my back, right, Kyle?
Yeah, man.
Because
Shit's going down. That's not cool.
the way I see it, trouble seems to be following us. And every time we reach out to the cam, there's an excuse or a reason why they can't help us. So we're going to listen to what these people have to say. But that doesn't necessarily mean that what we got to do exactly what they tell us to do in the way they tell us to do it. But I think, as Caleb said before he left the bar, for now we got to play nice. And Merrick starts to crush the handle of the door as he's talking because he is fucking livid, confused, has no idea what is going on. But if I get out of control or lose my temper, you have permission to help them hold me back.
Okay, man. I can do that. But there is a thing, man. You know, losing control is like one thing, but you know, you got to be chill if you can be chill, because you know these people can just like take us out. We already know they don't give a fuck about us. They don't care
My
what we
point
do,
exact.
what we got to say. You know, so it might already be futile. We may have no chance before we start, man.
Yeah, well, if we go down, buddy, I'm going to go down right beside you.
That's what revolution is about. Bring
Let's
on
not
the
let's
sun,
not say
man.
that word once we're in there.
I ain't afraid of the sun.
I'd like to watch one more sunrise, you know.
To interrupt real quick, if we might have comms. I don't know, like nowadays writers have comms on. You might be able to talk to me if you want. Let me hear what you want me to hear.
Merrick hasn't expressed this to you, Noriko, but I'll tell you above the table, Merrick is kind of annoyed at Noriko right now for dancing literally on the grave of his sire. So he probably wouldn't reach out at the moment, but yeah, so
Without my knowledge.
you told us you were dancing after and I was flipping the damn thing.
Oh no, I was dancing when you were attacking, when you were ripping up the boards, and I jumped off the stage.
Okay, I misunderstood it. Just because
I
of
did
when you
too.
said it. because of when you said it. It was like you were explicitly stating that even after we found out, you were in the background still dancing.
Yeah,
No.
that's how I read it
Yeah,
too.
that's how it came across last week, Will. I'm sorry. Was that you were
That's not what
you
happened.
were okay. Well, I'm glad we got that cleared up before we went any further.
Hell yeah. Okay, but yeah, that's just all. I wanted to make sure that me and Kyle were on the same wavelength as we were going in.
If you remember, I said I was dancing on the stage, and then you said you came over and started ripping it up, and I said I jumped off the stage with a cry or a squeak or like ah.
Yeah, I remember that part, but then like as we kept talking and stuff, you kept saying that you were dancing still.
No, definitely not.
Okay, yeah,
All right.
no, we're good then.
Yeah, yeah, all good. So if that pretty well covers the content of your conversation,
It does.
Kyle, um, you actually pull up behind a building. You're kind of in the alley behind this building, and you recognize the neighborhood. You're very close to the historic Brown Palace Hotel, where Edward had held court a few weeks ago. But you're kind of on the other side of the street and a little ways away. But Duke leads you to the back of this building. And when he gets out of his vehicle, a gentleman standing beside a door in the alley takes out a key, opens the door to reveal a staircase that leads down. Duke says, "Go ahead, bring him." And leads you down this flight of stairs into what appears to be some kind of old steam tunnel or, access passageway, maybe service corridor. You follow it under the street. You could hear traffic going by overhead, but he leads you under the street and across into one of the sub basements of the Brown Palace and to a service elevator. Uh, just before getting on the service elevator, he says, "Grab one of those laundry buggies over there, and we'll cover him up with a sheet."
Okay.
Okay, we can play.
All right. You get the bodies into the laundry bin, cover it with a sheet, get on board the service elevator, and go to the top floor of the building. Upon arrival, he leads you into a suite of rooms. This is not the meeting room where you guys had previously met with Edward and the other kindred in the city, but instead a very luxurious penthouse apartment style, where you find Edward seated, looking out the window across the city. And I need everybody to make a wits roll.
Minus
Great
Ron.
wits. Well, everybody but Ron, since
I
he's
figured. I just
not
wanted to
along
double
for the
check.
ride. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, that'll be the last
Um,
time I ask that question.
no,
I
no,
forgot
that's
to
cool.
I forgot to log.
So you know what?
Uh,
I got your back. Hang on. What is your wits score for Noriko?
I think it's 4.
Pull up your sheet again.
Hold on. Back real quick. Got some windows open.
I have been having some issues with Roll20 on my laptop this week.
Mm,
All right, so there is Noriko. Come on.
mm. What's 4? Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Clever and cunning.
Well, go ahead and roll your 4 dice then.
I'm not on roll 20 yet. Sorry,
Okay.
I thought you were doing it, so I just went and looked at the sheet for you.
Gotcha.
You don't want to roll it up. You can roll it.
No, it's fine. I'm just, like I said, I'm having to fight with my computer.
You want me to roll for you, Will?
I'm in
Go
there
ahead.
now.
Go ahead, Frankie.
I got it. 6565.
Nice roll.
Okay, very good.
I only got one success. Looks
Me
like,
too.
yeah, Kyle got one.
So, one success for Kyle and Merrick, and 2 successes for Noriko, which is sufficient. None of you lose your shit, but you are all somewhat surprised.
Hmm.
When the figure standing beside Edward at the window turns to greet you, and it is Booth.
What the fuck?
Merrick just stops dead in his tracks, like pushing the cart.
Duke
I see dead people.
freezes. But, Booth, what are you doing here? Well, Edward said you had business that concerned the family. We weren't able to contact Ms. Wilkes. Duke's eyes get progressively wider. So, Edward stands and turns to face you all. So, you contacted my sheriff with an urgent message that you needed assistance at the Red Note. He contacted me that we had urgent business regarding my family, but would not say any more over a cell phone. What is going on?
Well,
Duke is stunned speechless. He says nothing. He is just gawking at Booth. Someone?
I um I got Prince, and I bow. If you want me to make a shitty etiquette roll, I will, but I try my best to bow.
You
Just
know,
enough, just enough,
he's impressed that you make the effort.
just enough to like show respect, but not so much just like I'm worshiping the guy. But
Sure.
I got dead thoughts and etiquette. I might as well use them.
If you'd like to make a roll and see how impressed he is, let's see how we do. I can't wait.
What would
Let's
that be?
let's
Charisma
call
etiquette?
let's
Or
call it a charisma plus etiquette roll.
Rika always bows when she meets new people or greets people.
But Merrick never does, which is why I'm having him make a roll.
2
You know,
successes?
two successes. Yeah. The your prior conduct with in the prince's presence, especially your little commentary during his musical performance last time, he actually seems kind of surprised when you actually show him something that could be mistaken for respect.
As he
Go
should
on.
be.
Right?
I received a text message from Ramon upon waking tonight to meet him at the Red Note. As you know, we had an incident there with werewolves the other night, so it has been closed. I went there as directed by my sire, but he was nowhere to be found. I searched the building, and the only evidence of foul play that I found was a charred and staked corpse behind the bar. That is when we called, well, I won't lie to you, Prince. I called my coterie first. Bruja, as you know I am, my blood was running a little hot. So I thought I might find the culprit because I thought I was staring at the corpse of my sire. But upon their arrival and a bit of investigating, we did call Duke to get the sheriff there. He showed up, and upon inspecting the body, told us that it was Booth. And I gesture at Booth standing there. So, hence our sheriff's wordlessness at finding you here. At which point, Duke respectfully, I use air quotes, asked me where my sire was. And after telling him it was hard to call him without my feet on the ground, I did call him. And the phone rang in the red note. And under the stage, well, maybe I should just show you. And I throw the sheet back and I pick up Ramon's half a body.
Yeah. For those of you who may have missed last week, Ramon is little more than a severed torso. His body has been savagely mutilated. He is missing everything from basically just below the rib cage down. His arms and head are intact.
Not dead, but as you can guess, torpid extremely. And so we come here, but that still leaves us with who this other kindred
Edward
is.
looks at each of you in turn and then turns to Duke. You misidentified the body? Duke abases himself in front of Edward. You have never seen this behavior from him. Sire, I was certain that it was Booth. I, I did as you've taught me. I used the spirit's touch. I knew that Ramon had been present. I sensed that it was Booth. It was, but I sensed a third presence, but I couldn't identify the third presence. Edward steps forward and places his hand on the charred skeleton. He closes his eyes and concentrates. A minute passes, and then two, until he finally opens his eyes and looks around, puts a hand on Duke's shoulder and says, "Rise, my son. I see the source of your confusion. You are correct. There was a third presence in the room. This is, in fact, Leslie Wilkes. She and Ramon were arguing about Booth. He was present spiritually, but not physically present. However, I find it interesting. I believe there is a question of timing. You say you received a text message from Ramon tonight. Yes?
Almost immediately upon waking.
Text message came in right at sunset? Or it was waiting for you when you awakened? What is the timestamp?
I didn't look at that. I pull it out and I look.
Yep. The message is actually timestamped 5 minutes after sunset. So about 7:35 or so in the evening.
That's when it came through. So I've got pretty good signal at the
Interesting.
Winnebago. So I doubt it was like delayed.
So most likely that is the time that the message was actually sent. Strange that the sense I get from this body is that Leslie met her final death shortly before sunrise. It was morning, or nearly so, when she and Ramon were arguing. Curiouser
So
and curiouser.
do we think the one who killed him sent me the text message?
I believe that is a strong possibility. He then turns his attention to Noriko and Kyle. What of the two of you? Do either of you have anything to add? Did you see anything when you arrived at the Red Note? Did you discover anything inside the Red Note?
I did not. I would be standing just stoically, silent, and probably,
You say that you were standing stoically and silently,
yeah.
and Duke turns around and looks daggers at you. But he is behind Edward and does not say anything.
I guess I would say it's like Duke says. That's the way it went down. I'm afraid, Edward. My prince, I'm sorry to have to edify what he says, but speaks the truth.
Leslie Wilkes was my newest child. I embraced her almost a century ago. It was very important to me.
Seems we've got
We are
a
lost.
bit of an issue. Sire,
Oh, I believe you are more than correct about that.
the thing
It
is,
looks
the last couple nights, last couple weeks, two Nosferatu neonates went missing. Constantine's
oh,
childer.
Max and Michelle, wasn't it?
Max and
Uh, they,
Shelley. I
they were
grit my
presented at
teeth
the
at
recent
him not
court.
even having the respect to remember their names.
Well, Shelley is typically short for Michelle, so he's just stilted and formal. But
Okay. I didn't hear
um,
Michelle.
yeah, he said Michelle. So
Okay.
um, you say they've been missing for a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. And Constantine. Um, showed up at my house, let himself in, and threatened me with final death if I didn't locate them. So we began the search, obviously. Yeah. I don't feel like going off into the great beyond just yet. And we went to their house, we did some investigating, and werewolves showed up. And when we thought we escaped, we went to Kyle's business, and werewolves showed
And
up.
this was the
Ah,
confrontation at the shop. Yes.
yes. The one where we
Which,
called Duke,
mu-
and he told us to call humans. Not that they showed up in any kind of timely manner, but we survived, as you know. And then uh,
oh,
3 nights ago, the werewolf shows up to the Red Note, and I killed him. And we have to. It seems between Nosferatu and werewolves that trouble seems to be hunting us down. And while this is, yes, mostly our problem, and I gesture towards my
oh no,
coterie, this seems like a big problem for the domain and the masquerade
you
here
are indeed
recently.
correct.
So, uh, have you heard from Constantine?
I have not. I actually attempted to reach out to him earlier this week to follow up regarding the recent werewolf attacks. He, having a well-deserved reputation for a talent for information gathering, it seems odd to me that he would try to impress you into service to locate his own children. That is out of character, to say the least.
And maybe you're not connecting the same dots I connected, because it just so happened the first place that anybody would think to check is their house, right? And we show up and there's the werewolves. And they just know that not only do we hang out at Kyle's establishment, but where it is exactly to show up a half hour later and terrorize it. And it's all information that a Nosferatu of some power might be able to obtain quite easily.
Agreed. This is indeed suspicious. Constantine has been a source of concern for me for some time. I had thought that having gained permission to embrace not too terribly long ago, that his debt to me would help keep him in line, but instead, it seems he has continued to stray further afield. He turns and looks at Duke. When is the last time you saw Constantine in person? Duke shrugs. I've not seen Constantine in person since you held court, sire. Really? Booth, what of you? Booth Booth is looking at the bodies, and his eyes keep flipping back and forth between them. He looks up when Edward speaks his name, and he's, I'm sorry, what? When is the last time you saw Constantine? He came to my nightclub last week, 8 days ago. And what did you discuss? Booth looks a little uncomfortable. And he says, we spoke of Ramon and some business at the Red Note.
8 days ago.
Yeah. So prior to the werewolf attack, Constantine and Edward looks at Booth very closely. Go ahead. I would like all three of you to please make perception plus empathy rolls. There's some kind of subtext going on here. Let's see if you pick up on it. I know an empathy roll is not going to be great for much of any of yous, but let's see.
Hey, one
Hey, got
success.
a success for
Two
Kyle
successes
and
on
2
two
successes for
dice.
Merrick. Brilliant. A 9 and a 10. Well done, sir. And 2
That's a
successes for
crit.
Noriko.
Double tens.
That definitely
Yeah.
should be a crit.
Sorry, buddy. No such thing in this game. Um, not that kind of game system.
I know it.
Yeah, all three of you definitely pick up. Edward is watching Booth's reaction way too closely. And realizing that he is under such scrutiny, Booth actually stammers. He stutters and Constantine attempted to threaten me, sire. He claimed to have information that would compromise our relationship. Oh, did he? Did he really? Merrick, Noriko, both of you realize what it is that scrutiny represents. Noriko, you have heard about this from your sire as being a trait possessed by many Elder Toreador. Merrick, you recognize it because you've been on the receiving end of it. You're pretty sure Edward is listening to Booth's thoughts.
That's crazy.
And he says, yes, I can see where it would be possible that he might have information that would damage our relationship. Duke, take Mr. Booth next door. We will have further discussions shortly. Yes, sire. Booth turns towards Duke and starts backing away from him. No, really. It's not what you think. It's not. Take him away. And he turns to look at the three of you. I recognize that your existence in my city is a fairly recent development for all three of you. Mr. Jensen, you and I have a business relationship, and you have been here longer than either of these two.
Yeah, your lordship. I have.
I
Can I make
appreciate.
some kind of roll to sense that Kyle is under some kind of effect when he says that? Because that seemed a little too amicable to me. That didn't sound like he was faking it.
Meanwhile, I'm
Well,
thinking of sugar and spice and everything nice.
Because
concentrating
now
on
I'm not.
nursery rhymes, are you?
Because
I'm sorry.
currently
What
I
was
don't
that?
know how much my bag Jasper or Jensen has.
Haha.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead and make that same perception roll, sir, since you don't have dice for empathy. Let's see what you get.
Certainly not going to be a 9 and 10 again.
No, you never know.
Nope, 2 fails.
Yeah, no.
At least it wasn't a
No,
botch.
it's not a botch. You're okay. You're not quite sure how to read that dynamic. There's definitely something there, but you can tell that just from the statement that the prince made. But he looks at you, Kyle, and he says, I understand that with your recent setbacks in your new business venture, that your position in the city has become a bit more uncertain. Understand, I am quite pleased with how you all handled the lupine situation at your establishment.
Can I ask you a question, Your Lordship?
I suppose.
How come you guys aren't backing this up?
How come we're not backing you up? Whatever do you mean?
We obviously need help. These things are like hunting us, but you guys let them hunt us.
Do we?
Don't
Do we truly?
don't you run the city?
Oh,
The night you were
Jesus
attacked.
Christ.
Yeah, great big stones on that one. Ahem. The night you were attacked at your shop, you contacted us by phone from your establishment in Evergreen, a 30-minute drive from where I and Duke were that night. You contacted us in the midst of your confrontation with the Lupines. There was quite literally nothing that either of us could do to reach you in time to be of aid.
Not then, no. But you could have hunted
Since
them and killed
then,
them.
since then, my activities and those of the sheriff have been bent towards identifying and stomping out our new lupine infestation. In fact, Duke was able to localize and slay one of them just 2 nights ago. Now, in regards to your confrontation with the lupine who returned and faced you at the Red Note, I am again very pleased with how you all handled it. You set a trap, you used your superior numbers and a bit of planning to evacuate the mortals who might otherwise have witnessed something, and you successfully eliminated one of the lupines. Congratulations, you did well. But again, under the circumstances of short notice, there was nothing that Duke or I, or anyone who was not present at the time, could have done to be of aid to you in that situation. Do you disagree? Do you
Of course
expect
not.
me to magically appear and wave my wand and solve your problems for you?
Yeah, man, kinda. We're supposed to be protected.
Your
I'm sure that
reach
I'm
then.
sure there was I'm sure there was vampires around.
I Homer Simpson back away into the darkness.
Your reach then ends at city limits. I think we understand, Sire. You couldn't possibly have any kind of contacts around Evergreen. You're too busy running Denver. Makes sense that.
The Denver metropolitan area is all under my influence.
Oh, so you do have reach in Evergreen. Okay, I understand.
I do.
You just don't have any
But
contacts there that lend aid.
I
So
do not have any assets in the city of Evergreen besides Mr. Jensen.
Hmm.
Do you realize, sir, that you are in fact the one of only 2 kindred who makes their haven inside the city of Evergreen? No? Yes. You chose to be in the suburbs. I
Yeah,
cannot
man, it
send
followed the
I cannot send mortal associates to fight werewolves on your behalf. Do you grasp that? You did quite well on your own, did you not? Driving both of them away before the authorities arrived? You, in
you're
fact,
Yeah, we did.
slew one at the Red Note after successfully clearing the room of mortal witnesses. In truth, at this point, with 2 such confrontations in such a short time, you now have almost as much experience facing and fighting the Lupines as the sheriff. It is very rare that their kind surface in the city. I do not know what has brought them to our doorstep at the moment, but I assure you, finding out is most of what I have been doing for the last 2 weeks. Now, if any of you feel like you can do a better job of protecting the city from them, by all means, you feel free to step up and try to take my place.
Thank you. No, thank you. Bye bye.
um
He turns and looks at Noriko. Sit down, child.
But when she sit down,
Yeah, he
you know what he
says,
said?
sit down.
I sit down.
Merrick's gonna step forward and be like, Prince Edward, um, whatever is happening, it's not my sire was killed. The establishment that I have pretty much called home is wrecked. But as much as this has been a problem for us, gesturing at my coterie, this is a gigantic thorn and calls into question, not by me, of course, your control. So, I want your permission for us to start aiding in figuring out what is going on and who is trying to kill us.
By all means. He turns and he looks at Kyle and Noriko. Would the 2 of you please step out of the room? I need a moment alone with Merrick.
Of course, your worship. And I bebop on purpose out the door.
I was going to say, I spend a point of celerity and leave.
Zip
Thanks.
gone.
You do.
Right.
You really got my back.
Serious, by the way. I'm
Hey,
100%
man.
serious.
when the prince of the city says he wants a private moment of your time, you know you have done stepped in it, sir.
Mm. Too bad we can't stay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
When the
Pick me up
door
some
closes
Chipotle.
behind them, you are left alone with Edward. For the first time
I am gonna say that I'm not going to like shrink, or I've got 5 dots of courage, so I'm still standing tall despite the circumstance.
Yeah.
So do I.
Oddly
Just no.
enough, yeah, right. Oddly enough, he does not make any confrontational movement toward you. Instead, once the door closes and you find yourself alone with the dreaded prince of the city, he turns and walks over to where you have all laid Ramon's body out on the tablecloth on the floor. And he crouches down beside it. He says something kind of under his breath. Make a perception alertness roll to see if you catch it.
Okay, that's a little better. I forgot to put slash in there. Of course I did.
Oh,
Four
four
successes?
successes. 4 successes. My goodness. Yep. You hear him loud and clear. And what he says is, Ramon, you damn fool.
No argument there.
Merrick. I find myself in a position that is unusual and uncomfortable for me. You represent something of an irregularity in my domain, as I'm sure you're aware.
One of one.
I don't know how much of the history between Ramon and Booth you may be aware of.
Neither seemed very eager to tell, despite my constant asking.
Up until about 3 years ago, the two of them were nigh constant companions. They spent their time together much as you spend your time with your coterie. Being of similar age, they and shared interest, they spent a great deal of time together. Until just now, I had not realized their genuine intentions. Booth had approached me to obtain permission to embrace you. He had been watching your career with some interest.
Knew that, did you?
Ramon, I did.
So you
Ramon
just When
went
Ramon
behind
fed you that bullshit story about siring
Ramon
me
went
elsewhere?
behind his back to sire you. But when the opportunity arose for me to confront Ramon, Booth chose to cover for him, and I was placed in a position in order to appease Booth's sire to allow matters to stand. Now, my beloved Leslie Wilkes is dead. You are incorrect. Ramon still lives. I am quite curious, though, why he was left alive. Come, look here. And he actually kneels down beside Ramon's body, and he rolls Ramon's wrist over. And you see something that you had missed in general because of the state of the situation, but also partially because Ramon's jacket partially hid the detail. What you see is that his flesh is somewhat desiccated. You already knew, based on Caleb's observation, that all of the blood had been taken from his body. But what you see is a pair of puncture wounds consistent with a vampire's fangs.
Well, there was a distinct lack of blood at the scene. And I realize that he is simply in a torpor, but even if I fed him the finest from the herd in the city for years, he'll never walk again. It's not going to be Ramon.
I agree with that assessment. However, reviving him may be in our interests. He may be able to tell us what happened at the scene. You see, while the lupines can be incredibly strong, I've never seen one of our kind torn apart this way by their kind.
Won't he be in absolute agonizing pain?
Edward looks up at you and just smiles. Why, yes, I believe he would.
Ah, man. Wow. That's crazy.
Perhaps he'll have some answers, but that's no life for a Bruja.
I agree.
So, after we get our answers, I want you to call a blood hunt on Ramon.
Oh?
I
I am
seek your
fascinated to
permission.
hear your reasoning.
I seek your permission to diablerize Ramon. And
Oh, sh-
in exchange, I will drink of your vitae, your vitae, to show that this is not a disloyal ask, but if something was powerful enough to do this to Ramon, I could use a bit of a boost.
Oh my goodness. You are a bold one. I see what the boys liked about you. Very well. The joke is actually kind of on you.
That's not good.
Based on his injuries and the complete lack of blood in what remains of his body, I suspect someone was already attempting to do so.
Their loss.
Ramon was drained of blood.
I don't know when the last time you talked to Detective Ron, but diablerie seems to be going around the city, so.
Really? Hmm. Well, I know there
all these strings are just coming together, so.
they certainly seem to be. I can't decide if it is a single foe working multiple angles, or if it is multiple enemies taking advantage of the chaos being sown by others to try to move.
I will tell you right now that while I am highly suspicious of Constantine, given the circumstances, that I also realize that whoever is doing this benefits from us being suspicious of each other and at each other's throats. So I am willing to see otherwise on that situation, but too many lines are pointing that way. But you know him better than I would.
Yes.
So I seek this boon from you. And I'll help you hunt down whoever this is. And I, as I said, will drink of your vitae every night for the next 3 nights.
No, not for the next 3 nights. It will take at least that long to rouse Ramon from his current state. We will wait a week, during which time I and those of my household will care for Ramon and see to it that he regains consciousness. I will give you an answer to this request based on what I learn from him when he regains consciousness. If I grant you this permission, you understand that committing this act will bind you to my city. Anywhere else you travel, the visible stains of diablerie in your aura and the invisible traces of it that will remain in your blood for the rest of your life will betray you as a kinslayer. Within
Ooh.
my domain, wherein, if you commit this act with my permission, you will be protected from the consequences of such an act. Should you leave, you could be targeted by any prince or any sheriff who encounters you.
Oh, I'm well aware. I love Denver. I've got no problem staying. I've got a nightclub to run now, anyways.
Yes. I have an associate uh, who will contact you probably tomorrow or the following evening to set up the necessary paperwork to ensure smooth operation of the Red Note. Because one way or another, Ramon's establishment is an important part of the city's rack. It is feeding grounds for many of the city's younger kindred.
Hmm.
But you and I will speak again regarding Ramon's final fate. I will consider your
Regardless of
request.
regardless of how you decide, if you even decide that I cannot diablerize Ramon, I do ask permission as his clanmate to be the one to put him down.
That much I will grant. I will grant you that authority. You are his child, and in his infirmity, I agree. He would not wish to continue. I will grant you this boon. The other, let us consider his testimony when he wakes, and we will see. In the
That's all I can
meanwhile,
ask for.
in the meanwhile, I would ask of you a service in return.
Go on.
Sell your soul. Do it.
I just offered to.
I know, right? I want you to attempt to bridge the gap, the hard feelings between you and Booth. They are unjustified.
Much like you, I will consider.
I am aware of the source of your conflict with him. This event that appears to have actually led to your embrace a bit over a year ago now. An act of violence at the Red Note. Surprise. You'd think the place was run by a Bruja. It seems to draw such things.
It'll never be Elysium.
No, no, it will not.
Love you.
You see, I knew of the conflict between Ramon and Booth centered around you. The act of violence that claimed your friend Bruno's life was supposed to target you and eliminate that point of contention between my subjects.
Wait, uh, did I read the room wrong, or did you just say that you did that?
Hmm.
The intention was to remove an obstacle to peace and tranquility in my city. Instead, it made the situation worse. I did not directly perform this act. I made the mistake of entrusting it to someone else, who then botched it. Very similarly, botching something else more recently. But that is between me and that servant. I will address that myself. You have proven yourself to be a valuable member of our community, successfully dealing with a werewolf in hand-to-hand combat of all things. I would advise you to be very careful. Their kind are unforgiving.
I was banking on it, and I hold up my necklace where I put that guy's tooth on the silver chain.
He looks at the tooth, raises his eyebrows, and does something completely out of character. He laughs out loud. Oh, oh, foolish child, truly.
I know it's just one. I should have taken both canines, but I'll get it on the next one.
If any of their kind see that and know it for what it is, oh, oh, you know, that is one thing I have always admired about your clan. You
We're
Bruja may
warriors.
lack you may lack a proper sense of self-preservation, but by the gods, you do have great big brass balls. That is hilarious. I wish you all the best in your pursuits of this. Um, but um, well, gather your friends, get them back in here. We must discuss briefly. I have instructions for you all. So he gestures for you to go to the door.
Obviously, and I go and I gather up Kyle
Yeah.
and Noriko.
Very good. So, and where is the good professor? Where is Caleb tonight? I understood from Duke that he was with you all at the Red Note tonight.
He was summoned by his sire,
He
your
wasn't summoned
liege.
by his sire. She rattled the jar in which she keeps his assets.
Hey man, you gotta try to act with some kind of etiquette.
Oh, that is. Karina does have her ways. All right, very good. So I would charge the three of you. Find Constantine, if you can.
I was getting ready to say, I don't know that Constantine's the type you find.
Yeah.
Find his missing children, if you can. avoid the Garu. Duke, myself, and some others are working on that from a more subtle standpoint. Stay away
Sire,
from the places. Stay away from the places that they know.
I'm sorry, did you say avoid the ragu like spaghetti sauce?
Stay away from the places that they know.
Okay.
If you are
No
not
Italians.
in the places, if they are not in the places
Merrick
that they
doesn't know
know to
what
look for
guru
you.
is. I know what guru is, but Merrick's
He
never
didn't
heard
say
that
go.
fucking. Yes, you
He
did.
didn't say no. I didn't. Frankie, I
I
did not.
love that I'm gonna be able to play this back and you saying avoid the guru. I love it. I'm gonna clip it just for you.
Did I really?
Yes, you
Yes.
said avoid the guru. That's how
God
I
damn
thought
it.
of ragu.
Yeah. Apologies. Edward does not know that word. He would not use it.
Okay,
That is a
good.
storyteller fuck up. So let's rewind the conversation.
The lupine.
Avoid the lupines. Stay away from the places that they know you frequent. If they can find you at the club or at the head shop, then they can follow you back to your haven. Avoid those places for the time being. As I said, I have other assets in play. The lupine situation is being dealt with. It is not being dealt with by firing a submachine gun in a public place, he says, pointedly looking at Kyle.
Hey, man,
When you're
what
staring
we
down
could
a
have
fucking
done.
werewolf, yeah, exactly.
In an emergency, it worked, and I do not fault you for taking advantage of the assets at hand. But
Yeah,
by the same token, gunfire draws attention, which is something that we do not want. So, avoid the lupines, and thus avoid the need for gunfire. That said, concentrate on finding the Nosferatu, if you can. Assist Detective Green in any way that you are able, because I believe quite strongly that his investigation and the identity of Miss Wilkes and Ramon's attacker are tied closely together. Help Detective Green break that case.
so what's our priority?
Follow the evidence. Whatever you find, pursue it. These are your two tasks. Priority: maintaining peace and maintaining the masquerade within the domain. All of my assets are devoted to this goal. Action, both direct and indirect, is being taken to minimize the lupine threat. All possible steps are being taken to find this serial killer or whoever is presenting as a serial killer. Now, if the three of you would excuse me, I have a family matter to discuss with Duke and Booth.
Very well.
Good evening to you all.
Sorry for your loss. And we'll do our best.
I
Thank
will
you.
await word from you. And I escort them all out, and we can go to Ron.
Later, your lordship.
Later, your lordship.
Hey, man, I got no etiquette. None, zero, not a
Dude, I
dot.
love it.
There's nothing. And I also have 5 bars of courage, so he can eat my ass. I'd probably tell him that if I had the balls.
Oh my
Bro, I
god.
thought you were going to get us all fucked, man.
I tried for a minute. I did too,
Hmm.
but I
Yeah.
had to go there.
Priorities.
Yeah,
At the moment, having you working on his problems is more valuable to him than having your head mounted on the wall.
yeah.
But in the meanwhile,
Mm.
Detective Green, Ron, buddy, pal, my good friend, Nick, your moment has come, sir. I appreciate your patience.
Uh-oh, I think he said he was on a phone call. I just saw that now.
Oh no! No. All right. So, Nick, uh, Nick will rejoin us momentarily. Okay. So the three of you exit the Brown Palace. Do you go back out the way Duke brought you in, or do you leave through the lobby?
I don't want to go back the way we came because I kind of want to mentally map where his office is in this building for future purposes.
Okay. Yeah, that's easily done. The the building is constructed with a central atrium. Each floor is essentially a balcony with rooms that face outward from the center. So the penthouse that you have just exited, the Brown Palace is unique. It is kind of like the Flatiron Building in New York. It's built as a triangle at the point of a corner in the city. And the penthouse that you have just exited is the highest floor at the corner of the building looking out across the city. So yeah, there's no question of where that space is or how to get back to it. Um, the interesting bit is that by bringing you up that service elevator and bringing you in through the tunnels, Duke was able to get you and two bodies to that room without being seen by any of the building's staff. Now, you don't know if that was by design or if that was just by knowledge of the building. So that part is hard to tell. So,
Well,
do you have any wish to discuss what has taken place while we wait for Nick to return?
Hmm.
Or are you guys going to move on with something else?
I took up a lot of that time, so if you two have anything, I'm deferring to you two.
Yeah, I mean, the two of you sat, basically waited outside on the balcony while Edward and Merrick discussed privately. So,
Literally twiddling thumbs.
I think Noriko thinks we should like retreat back to her penthouse and have a chat about all this and develop a strategy.
Yeah, and
Because
Man,
find
you
out
just
where
like
Ron is.
You like to sit around too much, Norco. I think we just go to the airport.
The airport.
Start at the beginning. Yeah, man, that's where they got turned, man.
Huh.
Where who got turned?
Shelly and Max.
And by Constantine, you're saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then we
Well,
can maybe.
we know their house left absolutely no clues.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't say that necessarily.
What clan is?
There was the issue of the missing vehicle.
Above table, do we know what Constantine's clan is?
I wonder
Do
if
you know what Constantine's clan is? Yes, he would be the Nosferatu who sired the other two Nosferatu that you're looking for.
Okay, yeah, I never met them, so I'm a little behind. That makes sense. You know, it sounds like you want to maybe go into the sewers and that sort of thing, which I'm not too terribly excited about, but I guess I'll gear up. And I can meet you somewhere at the airport.
Ramon gave me Constantine's email. I can reach out. I'm not particularly excited about the prospect.
It's probably better than meeting him face to face in case he's, off the rails, frenzy, and going mad or something.
I
At
don't
least
think
try
he's
it.
gone mad. I think I'm not the only one with problems with the Camarilla in this town.
Well, I'm sure that's true. That's true.
And as Nos having a reputation for being the arms dealers who deal information to both sides, I'm not so sure that whoever's trying to kill us, he's not working for. It's hard. It's a situation. Max and Shelly is our only lead, and all we've got is the missing vehicle, and Ron's not here to help us track a plate. I've got some contacts, but I don't know how much they're going to be able to get back to us.
Well, the major thing I need before we venture down into sewers or other exploratory measures is a gun. I need a 45, and I'm going to use the ammo that I got. So Walmart it is before we go anywhere.
Well, you're not going to get a pistol at Walmart, Noriko. In America, Walmart's quit selling handguns quite a while ago, and you're not going to find a gun shop that's open this late, but I can make some calls. I would like to leverage my contacts to see if I can get Noriko a gun.
Maybe a
Okay.
pawn shop thing.
I've got
So,
two
again, it
dots
is
in
quite late in
contacts.
the evening.
Hmm.
If you are willing to do that for Noriko, then please make a.
I'm sure one of the guys who
charisma-
sells me cocaine has a gun I can convince him out of.
Right. Go ahead and make a charisma plus streetwise check, and your dots in contacts will effectively reduce your difficulty.
Right, I have two.
You
So
are
4.
attempting to illegally obtain a firearm. So that is going to reduce your difficulty for something like that from an 8 to a 6. And that looks like you have
2 successes.
two successes. Okay,
Sorry, I was
very good.
rolling self-control rolls while the prince was talking to not fucking lash out at him.
Yeah, you did well. I'm impressed.
Wow.
Mhm. So, yeah, with 2 successes, you are able. It takes you the third phone call, but you are able to find somebody who can discreetly get you what Noriko is looking for. He is insistent on, leafy green lettuce, as it were. No
I can,
promises of payment later.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I also
So,
will offer you a boon, a slight boon for getting it for me.
yeah, no problem.
okay,
I will take
very
that and
good.
put it on my sheet. Kyle,
Yeah, man.
um, I'm gonna ride in your truck. And I think this is hard because we don't have a way to find out where that vehicle is other than drive around town and see if we could spot it, right?
I
Which
guess.
vehicle are you looking for? Oh, the missing vehicle from Max and Shelley's?
Yeah.
Right.
That's our only lead
Well,
on them.
yeah. Well, the information that you were able to gather from their home is that essentially they had packed a bag and taken the car and left. Now, whether that's what actually happened or not is hard to say, but that's what everything pointed to. The vehicle that was missing was the van that Max had mentioned that they used for work, so to speak, which honestly you've never actually seen it. You don't know what it looks like. You just know that he had a van that they used for work. Um, with a little help from Ron, you could possibly, trace it down through the police department,
I was
but
gonna say
that requires.
Chicago has
Hey, y'all, I'm back.
license plate readers all
Hey,
over the
there he is.
place. Thank goodness, bud, because we were spitballing.
Yeah,
Sorry,
man.
sorry. I had got
No,
a call
no,
from
you're
work, and I was like, I think I can wrap this up in 5 minutes, and it was more like 15 minutes.
you are 100% okay. I apologize for keeping you on the hook this long.
Oh no, you're good, man. And just to back up something Frankie said, yeah, man, we got the license plate readers everywhere. We got the red light cameras, surveillance state,
Oh yeah,
surveillance state.
yeah.
Welcome to Illinois.
Colorado, un- and Will, maybe you know the answer to this, maybe you don't. At least when I was there last in 2015, Colorado did not.
Did not what? I'm
Uh,
sorry.
the state of Colorado, or at least the interstate system in Colorado doesn't rely on the cameras and license plate readers to track vehicle movements.
I
They've got them
could.
at stop signs. Stop
Yeah,
They
signs.
I'm
might.
pretty sure they do actually. But I
Okay.
honestly don't. I
Yeah.
guess I could.
But that may be a city by city thing though, rather than the state. So I haven't been to
Denver
Denver in
does.
years.
So
Denver
Denver has
does.
them. I just googled it, so we would be able
Okay.
to see where they left town at least in what direction.
Yeah, might be able to. Okay. But again, that's going to be a question of finding a needle in a haystack. Considering the fact that they've been missing for at least, gosh, at this point, 3 weeks of game time, there's no telling if you would even find the footage, because unless it gets flagged and specifically archived for some purpose, a lot of that stuff doesn't get retained for more than a couple of weeks at a time.
That part is true. Yeah, it doesn't get retained for a very long period of time, so you don't do something with it right away. It just gets kind of memory hold and wiped away.
Okay, no problem.
So, still worth looking into, but not necessarily the silver bullet you're looking for. But
Unintended.
yeah,
Oh, that
all
was
puns,
a
all puns fully intended. Yes. Uh, and no, if anybody's asking, we are not sponsored or in any way affiliated with Coors Beer.
Um, Nick,
But we
did
could
you
be?
hear
Question mark?
did you hear the request I gave the king, Nick, or were you on the phone by then?
You were. I was right there in the discussion when you had made the request, and he was like describing to you about the what the fuck is that word? Diablerie, how you would be like bound to the city and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
had
Okay.
stepped away right when you had called in the other two.
Okay. So you
So
did
that's
hear
like
that.
right when I had to step away. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
Merrick sold out, man.
You know what? I think that Merrick just has personal goals and he understands how to achieve those goals, and
Selling
yeah,
out's
he
part
sold
of it
out.
for sure.
All right. So, uh, gentlemen, I must ask the three of you to gracefully take a back seat for us so that we can
Absolutely.
get
It's Nick's turn.
over to Detective Green. It is your moment to take center stage, sir.
Shine, baby, shine.
Whirl, backflip. Okay.
Oh,
I think
Nope.
first things first, as Ron's kind of driving to the scene, he keeps nervously checking his phone. He's waiting for Earl to get back to him. And that's not me telling you have to, JD. I'm just like, that's his big thing, is he really wants to talk to Earl. But, checks his phone a few times and just drives on towards the scene, thinks about
Yeah.
some of the horrific things he's seen tonight and what the implications could be.
Well, honestly, with these things that have unfolded so far tonight, even just the part of it that Ron is aware of,
Yeah.
the implications are huge. But as much as you might want to talk to your sire about them, he does not return your call before you arrive at the crime scene. What you find is another scene that is, at this point, very familiar to you. As you were briefed already in the text message from the desk sergeant, the victim of this crime is a human male, late 20s, maybe 30, identified by bank records and tracking info from the Uber app as being the Uber driver who drove our most recent missing person. The young woman was, again, out for an evening with friends. They had carpooled together, gone out to several different clubs, and this driver had been their point of transportation throughout the evening. The
Right.
other two, the other three women who had been part of the outing are all accounted for and safe. They were delivered at their respective homes. The victim has not been seen since she disappeared and was reported missing 3 days ago. The driver was actually identified yesterday, and a wellness check was performed at his residence after it was reported that he had not shown up to work. Upon arrival at the scene, the responding officer, with the assistance of the victim's landlord, had entered the apartment and found the man sprawled across the dining table in the apartment with a number of very distinctive injuries, consistent with the pattern that your killer has been using all along. The last victim, the last murder victim specifically, was the oddity, and this victim makes it stand out more so. This victim's injuries were clearly inflicted by an incredibly sharp blade. The edges of the cuts are clean and precise. The missing organs have been removed with surgical precision. By contrast, the last victim had been torn apart savagely. His wounds were similar in terms of placement, but the cuts were ragged and wide, implying a different weapon, possibly, well, the coroner's report indicated that they might have been inflicted by some sort of animal attack, but the placement of the injuries is such that it seems unlikely. And recall also, Nick, that the coroner who conducted the investigation of that corpse died within hours of completing the report and sending it to you.
And just to, as a reminder, that death was, well, at least as far as Ron knows, it was a car accident, right?
Well, it has been chalked up as a car accident, but that is according to the mortal authorities. You have not had the opportunity to look more deeply into it.
Right. I put this on the to-do list. Okay.
Yeah. So, I guess the question becomes, what questions do you have? Because there is one thing that was found at the last crime scene that was damning. The last victim was in possession of what amounted to a killer's scrapbook.
Mm.
There were the last victim, the one who was torn apart so savagely, had in the apartment a scrapbook with photos of the missing women.
Mm.
Did not show any of them dead, did not show any of them being hurt, but it did show them all in a variety of compromising situations. Various states of dress, undress, and lots of leather restraints.
Yeah.
But there was no sign of the women other than that scrapbook that was found.
Mm. Probably should have looked into that scrapbook a little more previously, but that's all right. That's something Ron can put on the to-do list.
Yeah.
For now, he's gonna put that other stuff out of his mind, realizing, hey, I've got a fresh scene in front of me. I gotta focus my attention here and do the best I can do with it.
All
So
right.
I don't think Ron is probably skilled enough to figure this out, but he might have a stroke of luck if it was like something like an extremely long time. He wants to just look and make his best honest assessment as if he thinks the organs were removed after death or before death.
Okay, that is going to be something that you could probably ascertain by checking to see if there are, say, signs that the victim had been restrained. So
Yeah.
bruising around the wrists or around the legs. So go ahead, make a perception plus investigation roll. Let's see what
Okay.
you find.
Looks like that's 6 total. Okay. All right.
Only 2 successes. You think, based on the faint bruising around the wrists and the ankles, you think that the victim had been restrained, which would probably lend itself to the idea that these organs were removed while the victim was alive.
Yeah, at least partially.
Yeah. The the final cause of death on all of these victims has been exsanguination.
Yeah.
Poor bastard has been cut wide open and had several major organs removed and bled to death. There has been a question frequently about where's all the blood. There's some, but not enough at all of these scenes, which is one of the reasons that it drew the attention of the kindred.
Yeah, because that's
But
another thing like Ron was kind of thinking is like, does it look like right where the body lies, the organs were removed? Or is it more likely it was moved here? You know, like he's looking around, is there like a ton of blood, like just an absolute mess? Or is it a small enough amount of blood where it looks like, yeah, once the body was moved here, probably some more blood did come out and pool, but, if they were moving the organs right then and there, there'd probably be like, where they were putting them in a pile, there'd be
well,
a bunch of blood
that
and
is actually a very astute observation. You think, based on what you see here, that more than likely, because of, and as odd as this might sound, the size of the table
Mhm.
and the way it is made indicates that the victim was tied to the table. It's the table is large enough that the victim's legs bend at the knee and would
Right.
allow the ankles to be tied to the table legs and the
Mhm.
arms draped over the sides to be tied to the table legs at the head of the table. To allow this to have been done here, you think the missing blood could be accounted for by someone having placed plastic under the table before they started the process.
But
There
Ron's
is
also gonna think about, um, wait, hold on a second. I don't remember. I think Ron was there for
the
when,
cleanup job.
yes, the cleanup job. I'm like, there was a cleanup job that happened that I can't remember if it was Reno or if it was
It was
Miss
Karina. Yeah,
Wilkes. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was Karina.
So, and he's gonna think about that, and not even necessarily in the realm of, oh yeah, this was probably Karina, but there's probably other kindred that could potentially have that ability or something like that. So he's just kind of thinking about that. Like, look, could be tarps, could be something like that. A very particularly hungry individual with the ability to uh, manipulate the blood flow in that way to like make it float in the air and things like that and whatever. So he's
Yeah,
just trying to like consider reasonable police possibilities, and then oh yeah, I'm a kindred too, so I've seen this before. So yeah, it could definitely be this too.
yeah. The one mitigating point there, you more than likely are leaning towards the more mundane explanation, because at least based on what Karina demonstrated, the use of that power did a more thorough job of cleaning up than what this scene would suggest.
Okay.
So it is more likely that someone took the time to prepare the place to be easily have the worst of it cleaned up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But do me, you have a dot or two in the awareness ability, don't you? The talent? Or do you only
Yes, I
have
do.
alertness?
I
Make
believe I have awareness too. Let me just double check. Uh,
make a wits
I do.
if you have the ability. only if, make a wits plus awareness roll for me. Again, 2
I
successes.
actually do
Very
have
good.
it. Oh no, I just rolled it right now. I actually got 4.
Okay, there it is. 4 successes. Very good. There is something out of place about this scene. Something odd. You know, stepping back away from the central fixture of the scene, this is an apartment for one person. It is a one-bedroom apartment with a small dining table. You can see the scuff marks on the wall where the table would normally be pushed up against the wall. It's a relatively small table. It's just big enough to drape a man's torso, basically, across it and tie him to the table legs. And then it hits you. There are scuff marks on the floor, in the linoleum on the floor around the table, that would seem to indicate that there should be 2 chairs at the table. Maybe the guy had friends over, maybe he had a girlfriend or something, you don't know. But it looks like there should have been 2 chairs. One of them is present. The other one is missing.
Ron is going to examine like the legs and like if the back of the chair has like, like decorative pieces of wood. I'm not sure if it's just like a flat back, a cushioned back, but he wants to look at any long, a foot or longer plank of wood on it or decorative piece of wood or whatever. Do any of them look like the steak that he saw earlier tonight?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is.
It is a very good question. Unfortunately, no.
Uh,
The table itself and the chair that matches it are, cheap metal furniture. Where it screws together. I mean, it came from a Walmart or something. It has metal rungs, vertical rungs across the back instead of a cushion across the back.
Okay, yeah.
But it's a really good point though. But
I'll tell you what, at the very
the
least,
significance of the missing chair stands out to you as wrong somehow.
given that, and given that the chair is just such a common chair, Ron's worried that he may not fully remember what it looks like, so he's just going to snap a quick picture of the chair.
Sure. Now, bear in mind there are other officers present. If you've got something that you want somebody to do, if there's anything that you think somebody else could help with while you're doing this,
Yeah, you know what? I'll call one of the officers over, I'll point at the chair, and I'll say, it looks like there should be 2 of these. You want to go see if there's a discarded chair anywhere in the rest of the apartment or out in the trash bin out back, the dumpster?
yeah, sure, detective. We'll get right on it. And
Cool,
he
thanks.
grabs another officer. The answer to is it still in the apartment somewhere is a quick no.
Yeah.
But about 5 minutes later, the officer that you sent out with this request comes back and says, "Hey, we found that chair. It's in the dumpster where it was." And another guy is carrying it. The second chair is surprisingly clean. Like somebody spent some effort to wipe the to clean some blood off of it, maybe. Oh my god, stupid dog. But the interesting thing, there is an impression on the seat of the chair.
Booty cheeks.
No,
Ooh, all right. I was hoping.
shoe prints.
Ooh, somebody needed to get up higher for something. Ron's gonna tell that officer, hey, tag that chair. That's evidence.
Sure, of course. You wave over the crime scene guy. He spritzes it down with the I forget what they call the stuff, but this basically the spray can that shows blood under a black light,
Mm-hmm.
and waves the black light over it. And yeah, sure enough, it's been wiped down, but there is definitely a pattern where you can see where there has been blood wiped off of this chair and still traces of it on it.
For future reference, that is called luminol.
Thank you,
Luminol.
Frankie. I had misplaced the word.
Mhm.
But yeah, they are able to very quickly find that out for you. And yeah, absolutely. This chair was in the apartment when this man was killed.
And then
And based on the shoe prints, you think with great confidence that either someone was standing on the chair to watch while this grisly murder was conducted, or based on the preliminary with the luminol, you kind of wonder if it was the killer standing on the chair.
right, like if they were really short and they had the person on the table and they had to stand on the chair to do what they were doing.
Exactly. Oh, by the way,
Man.
it is a very simple matter, no roll required, because when they hit it with the luminol, the outline of the shoe prints on the seat of the chair show smeared blood having been cleaned off of it, but no outline like the blood would have puddled in that space. So you think that the killer was standing on the chair when the blood splattered on it.
Just a quick, I mean, Ron's not even gonna pull his tape measure out. He's just gonna look at the whatever imprints or mark that he's looking at. What size shoe does this look like? If this were a man's shoe, is this a man size 12 or is this like a man size 6?
Um, that's a fine question. The footprint looks to be maybe half the size of a grown man's foot. This is either a very small woman's shoe
No,
or
it's not.
possibly a child.
Yeah, Ron's been kind of trending towards this child thing, and I think the small feet just did it for him. And he is just like, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Mutters it a couple times under his breath. Okay. So now he's putting his thinking on and he's saying, okay, so I'm to believe a child overpowered a man to the point that while alive, possibly semi conscious, the man was then restrained to a table and, you know, surgeried to death. And he's like, man, I gotta find out if there's any children kindred running around here.
Hey, Ron,
Yeah.
make that wits plus awareness roll for me one more time.
Ron, you genius. Ooh, maybe not so. One success though.
You know, one success. There's something else that stands out about this. This victim and two of the previous victims all lived in apartments with neighbors, either overhead, next door, or both. If you're right that these victims were cut on in this way while they were still alive, how could someone have kept them silent and not had the neighbors hear their cries?
And that's why I was thinking the semi-conscious thing, but you know, maybe
Well, you know,
maybe
that's a
drugs,
good
maybe
point,
you
but
know.
that's the thing. The previous victims have had their tox screenings done, and there's been no evidence of drugs in their systems. Anything like an opioid or
Right,
anything that
right.
would, Rohypnol or something
Nothing
similar
that's
that would
that
have
much of a
rendered them
sedative to
unconscious.
block the plane or yeah, so where they wouldn't be
Right,
at least expressing some discomfort vocally.
right. Nothing like that was in any of their systems. It had gone overlooked because honestly, you at no point had anyone given consideration that this mutilation could have been done while they were alive. But that one success on that second awareness roll fills in one last blank for you. You yourself possess a power that would allow a kindred to do this
Hmm.
without the victim screaming. Hold still and be silent.
Ron writes himself onto the suspect list. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I had a couple nights there where I just don't remember. No,
Yeah, I
but
mean, things happen. You know, your whereabouts aren't completely accounted for. No, I'm kidding. Totally kidding.
well, I was gonna say I have seen Merrick, kind of phase in and out. No, but Ron is going to turn to one of the other officers present at the scene, and he's gonna say this. At a strange request, but I want you to give me a missing persons report of all the kids reported missing in Denver in the last like 5 years. I'm sure it's going to be extensive. Just whenever you
Oh,
get it done, get it to me.
yeah. He looks at you like you're a little off focus.
He's
Like,
going to wave
well,
his hand and say, "Listen, you see the size of those shoe scuffs on the chair? I would shudder to think that we could
well,
have a missing child somewhere."
he he looks at the size of those shoe prints and he's like, man, anybody that's any kid that's been missing for 5 years,
What if
man,
they were
they'd
taken when they were really young and groomed into this, man? You've seen that Dexter show? I know it sounds
well,
crazy, man, but sometimes the truth matches fiction. You know what I mean? It's just a crazy world we live in.
yeah, you're right. People are sick. All right,
Sometimes the
yeah,
truth
I'll
surpasses fiction. Right, yeah. We just gotta eliminate the possibility is all.
sure. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And he goes off to try to get your list together.
Like the
But you
internal like dialogue and the clock ticking in Ron's head is like getting more intense and stuff, and he's like, "Damn, damn, damn! There's a lot of things I'm finding out here. I wish Caleb would have been able to come with me. I would have loved to have somebody to talk to about this. I wish frickin' Earl would have called me, but he's he's just like, all right, I'm just gonna have to wait until I can talk to somebody later."
As your storyteller, I'm really glad that Caleb's not here for this. Not saying necessarily that Caleb would have found something that you could not, but I'm really
No, I
glad
think
he's not
Caleb
here for
has
this.
like occult details that he could have filled in some blanks that Ron still isn't
Yeah.
quite picking up on, but that's totally fine. That's just his blind spot, that's all.
Well,
Um,
one of
but
the
yeah,
crime scene one of the crime scene techs looks at you and he looks at this mess like, man, this is so weird. And he looks
it's
at you and he kind of cocks his head funny. He's like, if the victims were women, I'd swear this was a Jack the Ripper copycat.
he like stifles a slight smile as his head like pops up, and he just kind of looks over at the officer and he goes, "Wow, man, that's a throwback reference." But I gotta say, it is a astute observation because now that you said it, I can't unsee it. You know that.
Well, I mean, this is what the fifth one of these we've dealt with in like 6 months.
You know what? I got another assignment for you. And again, this is going to be kind of crazy, but just
You talking?
think of it
You're
as
talking to the crime
information
scene
gathering.
guy?
Um, no, you know what? He's going to call over one of the officers, one of the other officers
Okay.
again. And he's after having
Okay.
this conversation, he's like, I have another assignment for you. Again, kind of crazy. I want you to investigate the 1800 murders that were committed by Jack the Ripper. What I'm specifically looking for is as the number of victims grew, what about the crime scene changed? What did the investigators notice that may have been different from one to the next to the next? Just curious to see if, we're seeing a similar pattern or something like that. Maybe it could give us an insight that we're just not seeing right now. It's such an old case that,
Well,
sometimes things from the past can shine some light on things.
he looks at you like you have lost your damn mind. He shrugs and says, "Hey, detective, you're the boss."
That's right. That's
Um,
how I got to be a detective. You gotta think, man, if you're presented with a square box, you gotta start thinking about it like an octagon or something, man. You can't just make everything fit inside there. Come on.
all right, yeah, I mean, it's gosh, well, it's 9 o'clock our time, almost 10. So, gosh, that means it's what? Probably 6 in the morning in London? I mean,
I
there's archive records that we could probably just find on the internet, but, you know, the really specific stuff, probably have to call Scotland Yard for it. But
Why don't we
yeah,
just start with a simple internet search? Maybe we'll see something there. If we need
okay.
to call Scotland Yard or whatever, we can determine that later, but I'm just trying to get inside the mind of a killer and how they evolve over time, you know what I mean? And how their crimes can, because I mean, we're looking at numerous cases of people that are various states of being ripped apart, disemboweled, and we just want to, like I said, get any clues that we can from anywhere. I really
Yeah.
doubt somebody would copycat something from that old, but man, you just never know. And we're in the business of eliminating leads, right?
Hey, man, people are strange.
You got it,
And
brother. People are strange,
this,
strange, strange.
this here, wow. All right, so you've got your little worker bees running in all kinds of different directions.
Hmm.
But after a couple of hours at the scene, kind of looking things over, piecing things together, making some intuitive leaps that you've missed before. You finally think you've gotten all you can out of the scene.
Okay.
You are wrapping up. Let the crime scene guys finish with their work. They've got photos to take and measurements to make and all this kind of stuff. You're going to get out of the way and let them do that. And you're walking back to your car, and your phone rings.
He snatches that phone out of his pocket so fast to see who's calling.
It's Earl.
Freaking punches
Er-
the answer button and yanks it to his ear. Kelly.
Yeah. What's up?
You got time to meet in person?
I will have in a little bit. I'm kind of out of pocket at the moment, but yeah, I can meet you in about an hour. What's up?
Just want to talk about some things about the case. Um, you know, face-to-face type stuff.
Okay, understood. All right, meet me. You know what? Meet me at my place.
Okay.
I need to clean up a little bit after my evening's activities.
Right?
So,
You know, Ron's like, well, the equivalent of a vampire's stomach growling happens to Ron, and he's like, maybe I need to grab some dinner myself before I head over. I'll see you in about an hour.
all right. So you make it the rest of the way to the car. And you get a message from Merrick.
Okay. Take a look at
Sounds
it.
like they sounds like they might have wrapped up their meeting with His Excellency. Merrick, where are you trying to hook back up with Ron, or are you tonight?
I guess the message would ask him if he's going to be able to meet up, because I know he headed to.
Yeah.
He'll hop back on there. So about what time is it? Would you say we got a few hours till sunrise?
Oh yeah, it's early. The whole
Oh,
thing at the
hell yeah.
Red Note happened right after dark. So
Okay, so then yeah, Ron's gonna get back to Merrick and say, I can meet you. Give me about 3 or 4 hours. Where should we meet?
I guess. Well, let's meet at the art gallery.
interesting choice. Okay.
Yeah, Ron just sends back a question mark. And then a few moments later, really?
Yeah, the art gallery.
All right. Ron leaves the message on red, so Merrick can at least
Yeah.
see that he read the message, but he doesn't reply, and he just slides his phone back in his pocket.
All right. So you saddle up and head out to try to flake your thirst, as it were. Going to invest an hour or so in getting a bite to eat. Let's have you go ahead and make a hunting roll. Let's call
All
that
right, JD.
wits plus survival.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Where are you going looking for prey? This is going to determine your difficulty.
Hmm. I would say, given that it's still early, Ron is hoping that maybe he can catch somebody who like went out and started partying too hard and is maybe already down for the count. Maybe is, throwing up in the alley or sleeping it off in the car or something. So he'll kind of cruise the bar scene a little bit.
Okay. As early as it is, that's going to actually be a little harder than what you're used to. But let's go ahead and get a roll. Call that wits plus survival. Do you have dots in herd?
I don't think so, but let me. Is herd a clan discipline? Or is it a
Herd
discipline, I
is
should
a
say?
background.
Background. Okay, I don't have it.
Okay, very good. In that case, your difficulty, sir, is going to be an 8.
Oh, Ron. 3 successes.
Amazing. All right. You do successfully find someone to feed from. Roll self-control.
All right. Is that
Fuck.
oh, okay, I see it. There it is.
It's a bug.
4d10. Here it comes. Dude, no way.
Yeah.
Ron is in control, bro.
Oh, man. Ron has got the strongest sense of self of any of the vampires in this party. Knows who he is, knows what he wants, and knows that he has got to keep his cool if he wants to get it. So, yes, you are able to feed. You may regain 3 blood points.
Hell yeah.
Using the traditional Jedi mind trick, you are able to ensure that your victim does not recall a single thing about what has happened to them and why they have got such a bad hangover the next morning. But after having spent some time hunting, finding a victim, and feeding, you make your way to Earl's apartment. You find him getting himself together after a shower. He answers the door and lets you in. Says, "Man, I tell you what, this new detail that Edward has me on is bullshit. Gonna have to burn those clothes."
You got you doing.
Ah, fur trapping.
Mm. Ron just
He,
makes a face like ew.
yeah, he's got me knocking on alleyways and dumpsters looking for werewolves, which is absolutely stupid and suicidal, but he's the boss. So the good news is I've got a couple of ghouls to help with the process. And the really good news is haven't found any. But didn't you say you had an idea about how to find their friends?
Fuck, if
You
I did, I
were
don't
going
remember. Shady.
through mugshots looking for the one you killed.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Just to see if they had any like ties or anything and see if anything could come of that.
Yeah. Any headway on that process?
Not really, no. I haven't really found any solid leads on that.
Well, it ain't a bad idea. Get me a. Did you get a picture of the guy?
I'm assuming he has one on a file somewhere, but I don't know that he's got it on
Yeah.
him, so he'll just say, "Yeah, I've got it," but,
No, you
you know.
took it with your phone.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so he just, yeah, I
Yeah.
got it on the phone, you know.
All right. I'll I'll get one of my guys at the department to try to sit down and do the grunt work, looking through and looking for him, and I'll let you know if I find anything. So, what's on your mind tonight?
Well, I just wanted to talk to you about the scene I was at and ask you a couple questions about it, but before I even start, I want to ask you this. It's going to be a kind of question that might raise some alarm, but let it be known that I'm not, planning anything like crazy or anything like that. I just have a quick question about Prince. How well do you know the Prince, and how much would you trust the Prince in general?
He looks at you like you have lost your damn mind. Well, I have worked for Edward for mm, almost 90 years. I came I came to Denver just before the Great Depression, and it was during the Depression that Duke hit me up and asked me if I would be willing to work for him to help maintain order in the city. As far as how well I know Edward, I can't say that I know him real well at all. I spend most of my time dealing directly with Duke. Why do you ask?
I'm getting led in a lot of strange directions with my investigation, and a thought occurred to me. I actually don't think the Prince is directly involved, i.e., some type of conspiracy, but I do wonder if maybe the Prince already knows things and is just having us look in to these things to see how much we know. Like maybe he knows about things that are going on and he's just allowing it to happen. But if that were to be discovered, would look bad for him. So maybe he has us investigate it to make sure that he's got things under wraps. And if he doesn't, wouldn't be hard for him to get rid of some 13th generation kindred, right?
I am not following you at all. What are you talking about?
Ron's gonna take a, even though he doesn't need to, he's gonna do like a sigh, deep breath sigh, and he's gonna say, "Let me lay it out so you can play it out, all right?" And he's gonna just start going over all the different evidence he's collected and things like that. And he's just like, "Look, if this is a child kindred, right? Maybe this is one of his children. Maybe this is like literally children. You know what I mean? Maybe this is somebody that he knows about that other people don't know about. How many child kindred are there, Earl? I've never met one yet. Have you? But they
Oh,
have to exist, right? I mean,
you hear about them sometimes, but they're almost universally the stories you hear that they're just absolutely batshit for being turned when they're way too young. But as far as I know, there aren't any child kindred in the city.
you think the prince would just not know about kindred in the city? He seems pretty connected. He seems to have his finger on the pulse of a lot of things. I'm just starting to wonder if this, I don't know, I have to look into it, I have to find out, is just an act, or maybe he really doesn't know. I don't know.
Man, um, well, So I can't say that I know Edward all that well, but I really think, based on what little I do know, he likes things to be quiet. He doesn't like to have stuff like this going on in the city. It makes him really nervous.
So you wouldn't characterize him the type that likes to rule by deception or anything like that?
Honestly, as long
Subterfuge?
as long as things are quiet, he doesn't do much ruling. He's not the type to, stick his nose in everybody else's party. As long as everybody behaves themselves and nothing funky's happening in the city, he doesn't get involved. It's very much a live and let live kind of place. Obey the traditions, keep your head down, do your own thing. Get along with your neighbors.
Okay,
That's half
fair enough.
half the reason the city's done as well as it has over the years. He's got his interests and he's pretty jealous of them. You know, you don't make waves and you don't try to, buy out his nightclub or, shut down the art gallery that Wilkes runs. You don't mess with the Toreador. And as long as everybody's getting along, he's, do what you want.
You just realized that Ron doesn't know that it's actually Wilkes.
Ron,
I
yeah, because
know,
I was gonna
right?
say Ron is getting ready to lay this shit on Earl that they discovered earlier, and he's gonna give Earl some information that's not correct, but it is what it is. He doesn't know that. But yeah, so he's gonna make eye contact with Earl, like serious eye contact. He's gonna say, "Hey, the conversation I just had about the prince, that was between you and me. I'm not gonna go back to the rest of the newer kindred with that. I'm not gonna talk to Duke. No, I just wanted to talk a scenario out between you and I. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you know what?
So that's it. I'm not
There's only one other
anti-prince.
there's only one other Ventru in the city. We got to stick together, man.
Hell yeah. Now, I'm glad you're sitting down for this because I got to tell you what I did before I went to that crime scene. Got a call from
Mhm.
Merrick, and he's just gonna go into the whole thing. I'm not gonna re-describe the scene, but just gonna go into
Sure.
the whole scene about how, Merrick called them in quite a stir and asked them to come and what they found and Duke's reaction. Duke saying this is Booth, which Ron is telling him heartfeltedly like Booth is dead. Fucking Ramon is not dead, but he's in such a state of torpor that he likely won't come back from.
Oh, wow.
They all went to the Prince. The only reason I hadn't gone with was because I just got the call on the crime scene. And I mean, our line of work, you can't let the
Yeah.
evidence get cold. But
Well,
before
yeah,
I
this
went back
is
to talk to anybody, I was so glad to get your phone call and get to have this conversation between the two of us first. Let cooler heads, prevail and talk things out. Think about things. He says, well,
right. So
look,
what?
Kelly, I appreciate your time. I'm going to get out of your hair, but like I said, what I just said, this conversation, it was between you and me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your take on the new crime scene?
I learned a lot at this one that I was missing in the other previous ones, and now I'm really kind of on. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm kind of on this child killer beat now too, and I just really don't think a child is going to be killing no grown man. So it leads me to think it's a kindred, and they planned. They planned to have to clean up the blood at the scene and things, and I'm thinking a lot of things. What do I make of the scene that I just went to? Things are evolving, that's for sure. Or we're looking at two completely different killers. But I don't know. That might not be the case. Might be somebody who's taking a turn, taking a maybe a curiosity bent. Honestly, if it wasn't a child, I would have assumed maybe a surgeon, a hunter, somebody who just loves blades and knives and things like that. Somebody with the type of hobby that would lead him to this. But now, the other ones made more sense. Like you said, they're a little bit buggy from getting turned so early, and they don't have self-control, not like us. You know, poor little bastards. And but this last one, I mean, there had to be a lot of self-control to do the work that was done without giving into the bloodlust.
Ugh.
That's kind of spooky all by itself.
Telling me.
Because that kind of self-control generally doesn't come without a lot of experience. All right, well,
Ron suddenly starts thinking that maybe telling the guy to look for all the missing kids for the last 5 years wasn't going back long enough, but then also, like, how do you sift through all that information, right? Like,
well,
he's just like, damn, this might be a old ass kid.
it might. If it's a
And then he's
vampire,
gonna,
there's no telling how old.
as a parting thing, he gets up and he shakes Earl's hand and he goes to leave and he goes, you know what else is kind of strange about this? One of the crime scene techs took a look at the scene and said it was something akin to like a Jack the Ripper. Ever since he said it, I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, but the Ripper's murder victims were all women.
Sure enough, but I don't know, man. Maybe
Well,
there's a
but
connection.
that still leaves us with the question of where are the missing women?
Yeah.
I really wish
Yeah.
we could get a break on that.
Hmm.
But meanwhile, across town, hey, Merrick, Kyle, when you
Yeah.
left the Prince's company, which way did you go? Where are you headed?
Um,
I say
I would.
I want to gather Ron and Caleb, and I'm going to tell them to meet us at the art gallery.
Okay, so you head down to the gallery. Noriko, are you
Noriko?
going with? Are you following him?
Norco was going home.
And then they were going to text me where they were headed. I was
Okay.
gonna just,
Are you going to meet us there? Because if so, I'm going to ask you something.
yeah, I'm going to meet you then.
All right. Upon arrival at the art gallery,
What
I
was the
need you
ask?
guys.
What
I
was the
need you
question?
guys to. He hasn't asked yet. Will, hang on a minute. I need you guys to, all three of you, make a perception plus alertness roll.
Okay. Perception.
3 successes.
3 from Eric. That's good.
Uh,
1 success for Kyle. And
One.
1 success for Noriko. All right.
I would like to buy one with a willpower.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Well, I would question what you are so determined about. I'm just looking to see if you spot something. Spending a
Yeah.
willpower point on something is, that is a casual observation.
Okay. Casual
Seems.
observation. The
I
loop
mean,
line.
if you want to spend a willpower point, take it. You now have 2 successes.
All right.
Uh, all right. Um. Merrick?
Yeah.
As you get out of the truck and walk towards the art gallery, which, it is a block down the street to Booth's nightclub.
Exactly why I picked here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to go in or like anything. Like this was just.
It's 11 o'clock at night. The gallery is, of course, closed up and locked.
Yep.
You
And
notice, and with 3 successes, you're the only one of the 3 of you that notices it. And it's not so much that it's something weird, because I mean this is a busy district. There are people all over the place, coming and going from restaurants and nightclubs and bars, and you know, there are people all over the place. But something catches your attention as you get out of the truck. At the corner of the building, you see a woman. And for just a second, as you're looking at her, you would swear you were looking at Karina. And
I
then
don't know.
she steps out into the light a little bit, and you realize that no, it's not. It's just, some blonde-haired, blue-eyed chick that just happens to look like her.
yeah, Merrick doesn't know about
It,
the clones.
yeah, just
Uh,
some chick that looks like her. But it sticks in your brain.
Absolutely. I'll mark that to talk to Caleb about. And I mean, not so much that it's going to make me suspicious and dominate the scene, right? It's just something like, oh,
No,
that's
no,
interesting.
it just catches your attention for a minute, and then Kyle and Noriko come up to you, and the 3 of you are talking, and, well, what are you guys doing moving forward? Are you gonna try to go into the club?
So
Are you gonna
listen,
try to get into the
yeah.
night if
So
you're gonna,
they come up to us, and I'm like, listen,
Mhm.
Wilkes is dead. Booth is indisposed, and from what he revealed in our little meeting, he met with Constantine, and that prick seems like he's such a pretentious fucking asshole. I know he's got to keep like a journal or some kind of like notes on meetings that he has with people because he is that much of a stick up his ass kind of guy. I want to break into Booth's office at the club. I want Noriko said you're good with technology. Maybe you can find something on his computer, papers, some kind of notebook on the meetings that he's having because he knew something and the prince saw it and chose not to tell us, and that bothers me.
okay, well, that's what you were asking me. Is if you wanted me to do
Yeah,
something.
because your technology, you told us a couple sessions ago you have dots in technology, so I figured that'd be a good opportunity for you to use them.
Yep, sounds good.
All right.
But I
But the
want to
goal
wait
is to
for
get into the
Ron.
club, not all
Correct,
right.
and if he's got an office in there, I want to go to Booth's office. I know that she has one in there, but Booth knew something, and I've got a grudge against him, so why wouldn't I pick his over hers? And um, he's not going to be there. I want to wait for Ron to get here. That he's got dominate. We can deal with ghouls, so we can get in there. As far as I'm thinking.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Heck, if Booth's not there, you know, uh, he told you once before when you and Caleb went in there that you in particular are a known face, and his staff there at the club is supposed to treat you like an honored guest anytime you show up.
Exactly.
So you've got a definite golden opportunity while you know he's busy elsewhere. So yeah, Ron, this is the scene that you arrived to. Um, have you reached out to Caleb? Have you sent him any kind of message? Say, hey, meet us over here at.
Yeah, because Ron wanted him to go to the crime scene. He wasn't able to make it, so I'll say, Caleb, make sure you meet us over at the shop because I want to talk to you about some things.
Okay, very good.
I will say, I
So
apologize. I was talking to my wife, so I had the headphones like halfway on. I know Noriko and Merrick were talking. I don't know the exact context of the conversation. My bad.
you
No,
know,
it's all
it's
good.
fine.
It's not
Y-
the shop we're meeting at. We're meeting at the museum. So other than that,
Yeah,
Okay, okay, gotcha.
yeah, no problem. But yeah, you roll up, um, pull up, park next to Kyle's truck, find Noriko, Merrick, and Kyle all kind of lurking in the shadows a couple doors down from Miss Wilkes's art gallery. Booth's nightclub is down at the other end of the block.
Okay. Go ahead
glad you could
And
and
this
show
make
up.
my
this is our
way.
golden
And
opportunity.
I explained to him, the plan and why I choose it, because I tell him what happened at the office with the prince and Booth, and that it ended up being Wilkes, not him. And I just give him the whole layout,
Yeah.
other than admitting that I asked the Diablerize remote. So everything but that, I hand over, and then I tell him my plan.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So, Detective Green, you just find out
Yeah.
in a detailed and, you know, comprehensive kind of way that maybe your boss, the sheriff, isn't as sharp as he thinks he is, because he was convinced that that was Wilkes's body behind the bar. If that was it, or it was Booth's body behind the bar, and if that was Wilkes instead, oh, that's
Okay.
big news.
So Ron wants to pause on that for a moment, and this is a question for you, the storyteller. Would there be any way to like well, you know what? I guess Ron wouldn't really know this, but here's what Ron's gonna be thinking. Maybe, just maybe, Duke is just fine, and he made a misinterpretation based on somebody else muddying the waters. He's using some type of, clairvoyant or divination or blood ability to allow him to see what had happened at a time when he wasn't there. Maybe there's a way that could be manipulated somehow. Who knows? And obviously the prince is going to have a stronger sense than Duke, so he's able to just see right through that. But yeah, Ron's going to look at that less as like an indictment on Duke and maybe more of a sign of this could be the type of power we're dealing with.
It very well
But he
could
doesn't know
be.
that for sure. It's just a fleeting thought that he has. But yeah, he's going to be shocked to discover that it was indeed Wilkes. So that's first and foremost. And just give me a quick rundown. What was Merrick's exact plan again, Frankie?
Oh, so Booth is being held captive by the prince right now, and we know Wilkes is
Hmm.
dead. So we have free reign to both of these people's offices. But I wanted to go to Booth's first because he met with Constantine, the most recent. So I think if we go
Oh hell
there,
yeah,
because he's a pretentious asshole, there's no way he doesn't keep journals, notes, emails, that kind of fucking shit.
perhaps yeah. Okay, yeah.
He's
I mean,
probably
there usually is a trail somewhere. I mean, a detective will tell you, man. People are they're not as smart as they think they are. They think they covered their tracks, but they usually leave a few crumbs somewhere.
Merrick salutes. I'm learning from the best.
Yep. Yep. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
game to help you, man. I'm game to help you.
So,
We just got to wait for Caleb. Dun dun dun.
yeah, well, as it happens, it is 3 minutes till 10 local time for me, which is to say that it's 3 minutes till 11 Frankie's time.
Yep.
Yep.
This feels like a good place to wrap it up for the evening. We will pick back up next week when Caleb rejoins the party. Poor Caleb gets to go and have a conversation with his sire that may or may not go the way he thinks it will. But in the meanwhile, I hope everybody enjoyed tonight.
Yeah.
It is a
Well,
Oh,
just
yeah.
chock full of revelations and opportunities.
Thanks to all the viewers on Twitch. Thank
By the
you.
way, I know we don't do stars or wishes, JD, but that crime scene was just spot on. So stars to you and Nick. That was really great, kind of the way
Man,
he
this
like
whole fucking
he
episode was good,
investigated it
man.
out, and yeah. So I thought that was really cool.
Thank you, sir. All right. Well, let's all say good night to our viewers. Thank you, folks, for being with us. Anybody that did.
XP
Thanks, everybody.
time. Good night,
Thank
guys.
you,
And let's
guys.
talk